And so, um, Drew and Quentin, can you introduce yourselves and talk a bit about what Workiva is?
Sure. Hey, I'm Drew Deubner, and I'm on the marketing team at Workiva. The way I like to explain Workiva to people who don't come from a financial background or who may not entirely understand what Workiva does is think of it like Google Drive with a whole host of bits and ends that are very, very applicable to people who work in finance. So you can collaborate on documents and spreadsheets and presentations all at the same time, but there's lots of other features and functionality that really, really helps the lives of accountants and compliance professionals and people who work with numbers and finance all day.
And you guys are located where?
We're located in beautiful Ames, Iowa, just over in the research park.
Okay, so if I wanted to even drive by your building, where would I go? What would I see? And what would I see when I drive by your building?
Quentin, can you take that one?
Yeah. Well, you would see a beautiful campus with some lush greenery. Green is a favorite color at Workiva. Workiva green, as we like to talk about it. And you'll see, a modern kind of, office atmosphere that basically is very pro collaboration, pro working together and getting the best outcomes for our customers and for people that work for the company.
Now, you guys have, I've heard it described as kind of a Silicon Valley style. Can you speak to that? Is that how you guys think of it?
Sure. I would think that Workiva is very much like any big deal technology company that you think of. I would put us in the same category as an Oracle or a Google or a Facebook, even though what we do is entirely niche and entirely related to, well, put it this way. We're a really big deal in financial circles, which may not seem like a whole lot of fun to you. It's a huge, 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 huge deal to people who, again, work with numbers and finance all day.
Okay,
right,
so you've talked about numbers and you've talked about finance, and yet here you are coming to the Greenlee Jumpstart Internship and Networking Fair that's going to have lots of people with backgrounds and interests in advertising and public relations and other communication skills. So talk to me what you're looking for.
Sure. Well, I think this is kind of where my role and Quentin's role kind of bifurcates. So again, I work on the marketing team. More specifically, I work on the content marketing team. So I come from a journalism background and we create all of the blog posts, white papers. We're the editorial team that helps sell Workiva to our customers and prospects. And then Quentin kind of has a different role, but also works with words.
Yeah, so I work within R&D, which is research and development. And so largely what I do is we like to call product content. So it's all of the content that you would see in the app itself that you would use to learn about the app, and you would stay up to date about that. So, if you think of any app today, like there are just words all over the place, whether it's menu items, whether you get a message that lets you say, hey, your internet's not connected. And what we really try to do is craft that language to be as human friendly as possible. So, we're all humans and we're working with technology every day. And, the last thing we want is it to sound robotic. Like, yes, you're working with important reports and narratives and data, but at the end of the day, we're all human and we want that language to really feel great and make you feel great about your work.
Well, it's fascinating because, Greenlee is all about language.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about communication. It's all about clear and driven sort of, communication. Can you speak to what your goals are for showing up at the internship fair? What are you looking for?
From my perspective, I love talking to any student who comes from an editorial background who really likes to dive into things they don't understand and learn more about them. Again, I come from a journalism background. I didn't really have any training in finance before, but here I am, and I'm, some years on, I'm able to write to that audience. I'm able to put myself in the shoes of that audience and write and speak to them in a way where, oh, Workiva clicks. I come across as an eloquent thought leader to our audience.
Right, and I came from a linguistics background, so I didn't actually really take a whole lot of composition. So if you actually were to look at my college career path, I think I only took 1 or 2 composition, and most of it was like linguistics and speech. So what we're really looking for on the kind of the product side is somebody that's very inquisitive, somebody that seeks to understand and that wants to craft messages that make meaningful sense to users, and that they really, kind of can latch onto and get a sense of what something means. So I think with today's, kind of modern communication students, you can come from a whole host of different backgrounds as long as you have that key skill set of really diving into language, understanding its implications, understanding audiences, and really wanting to connect with people in a clear, direct, succinct way.
That's great. Okay, so in terms of like near term, are you guys looking to start to develop relationships with people for possible employment down the road? Are you looking to bring on interns? Are you looking to bring on entry-level hires?
I think in the immediacy right now, my team's looking for an intern to help with a lot of the project management stuff, some of the behind the scenes things, but that does certainly not preclude you from really helping out with a lot of the editorial lists right now. An intern on my team is writing a batch of sales emails right now that help the inside sellers reach out to prospects. And that's an interesting challenge because you have to immediately focus very myopically on what the goal of this email is. How can you tell this message in the most concise way possible? All of which is to say is, yes, an intern right now would be immediate, but I think it goes across Workiva that stars are stars, and we like to use the internship program as a way of shepherding people up through the ranks.
Right, I would echo that as well. And we are looking for a UX writer intern as well. And the way we think about it is, as an intern, you come onto the team and you're working alongside of us for a specific duration of time. Like, I always kind of joke, pre-COVID of course, the only time I'm going to ask you to get coffee is if I go to get coffee with you. Like you are there to kind of get the full experience and immersion within kind of like what it's like to work in a modern software company and really dig into kind of fun and exciting, challenging problems.
That's great. I just have one or two more questions. What does it take, Drew and Quentin, what does it take to get your attention?
The main thing it takes to get my attention, if I see your resume come across, I'd like to see a portfolio. What you do is working with words, and I need to see that you've given thought to that you've tried. These don't have to be published in the New York Times. They could be published, I went on a trip to Greece, and here's a story about my trip to Greece. I just want to see that you tried, and how you lay out a story, how you structure that, and how you convey a message. Extra bonus points for doing that from a business perspective. How can you get your point across as a business? Sell a perspective rather than just sell your own perspective.
Right. Yeah, I would echo that sentiment. Show me like your writing, your communication, and how you think. And I think for us, especially on the kind of like the product R&D and UX writing side, is our content is constantly changing. Like, we're constantly looking for ways to iterate, evolve, and improve our content. So kind of bonus points, if you can kind of show a piece of content, like where it started from draft to maybe first version to second to third to fourth to fifth. We have, pieces of content out there that I couldn't tell you how many versions there are, because it's like the content is just living and breathing and constantly changing to adapt to a modern product and to for different users and what they need and the feedback that they give us. So.
Yeah, I guess I'd also like to add some interest in technology. If you go out and make a website for yourself, use Squarespace, use Wix, something like that. Some idea of how to brand yourself is always a good idea in terms of stepping in and branding the company from a content perspective.